Let me take you back to the wildest night of my life. A night that started with an argument and ended with me sitting in a hotel room, staring at the ceiling, wondering how my marriage had just exploded. I'm 31, and up until 6 hours ago, I thought I had a pretty normal life. My wife, she's 29, and I have been together for 5 years, married for 3. The house we lived in? I bought it before I even met her, paid in full with money my grandfather left me. The deed? Only my name. We always said we'd add her name eventually, but life got busy, and it never happened. Turns out, that little detail would save me. Lately, things had been off. She was distant, always out with friends, coming home late. I tried to talk about it, but every time, she'd get defensive. Tonight, I finally pushed the issue. We need to talk. Something's not right with us. She shot back, nothing's wrong. You're just paranoid. You've been out until midnight 3 times this week. That's not like you. So now I need permission to see my friends? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just worried. Well, stop worrying. I'm fine. We're fine. But we weren't fine. We barely spoke anymore. That's when she snapped. She started yelling, calling me controlling, saying she couldn't breathe, that she needed space. I tried to stay calm, but that only made her angrier. You know what? I can't do this anymore. I want you to leave. Get out. I was stunned. Me? This is my house. If you need space, maybe stay with your sister. No, you leave. This is my house too. Actually, it's not. You're not on the deed. Wrong thing to say. She lost it, screaming, throwing things, then grabbing her phone. If you won't leave, I'll make you leave. She called 911. Told them there was an intruder in her house. That she felt threatened. That her husband was trespassing. I just stood there numb, as she gave them our address. 10 minutes later, 2 cops showed up. I opened the door. Sir, we got a call about a trespassing situation. My wife called you. There's been a misunderstanding. She came running up. That's him. He won't leave. I told him to get out and he's refusing. Ma'am, is this your residence? Yes, we live here together, but I want him out. Sir, what's your relationship to this woman? She's my wife. We both live here. She cut me off. He's being aggressive. I don't feel safe. He needs to leave now. I wasn't being aggressive. I hadn't even raised my voice. But the officers exchanged a look. Sir, I'm going to need you to step outside. Why? Just step outside, please. I did. One officer followed me out, put his hand on my shoulder. Sir, I'm going to need you to put your hands behind your back. Are you serious? Standard procedure in domestic situations. Just precautionary. He cuffed me. Not tight, but still, handcuffed on my own front porch, while my wife watched with this satisfied look. The other officer was inside, talking to her. The one with me asked, "Have you been drinking tonight?" No. Did you put your hands on your wife? No, absolutely not. She says you refused to leave when she asked you to. Because this is my house. Check the property deed. My name's the only one on it. He paused. The house is solely in your name? Yes. I bought it before we got married. She's not on the title. He went back inside. I could hear muffled voices, then my wife's voice getting louder. 5 minutes later, both officers came out. The first one uncuffed me. Sir, we apologize. We've verified ownership. The property is registered solely to you. Then to my wife, ma'am, this isn't your property legally. You can't compel him to leave his own home. If you want him removed, you'll need a court order. She was furious. That's not fair. I live here. That may be, but residency doesn't equal ownership. You can stay, you can leave, or you can pursue this through family court, but we're not removing him. He hasn't broken any laws. She tried to argue, but the officer cut her off. Ma'am, making false reports is a crime. You told dispatch there was an intruder. There isn't. That shut her up. The officers left. She stormed inside, started packing a bag, wouldn't talk to me. Her sister showed up 20 minutes later. They both glared at me. Her sister called me a few choice words. I didn't respond. Before leaving, my wife threw her house key at my feet. Keep your precious house. And they left. That was 6 hours ago. I locked all the doors, changed the security code. Then I left too. Didn't want to be there if she came back with more drama. So now I'm in a hotel, trying to process that my wife called the cops on me in my own house. That I got handcuffed on my own property. That she really thought she could have me thrown out of a house I own. Tomorrow I'm calling a lawyer. Update 2 days later. Things escalated. After the police call, a buddy of mine, he's a cop in the next county, called to check on me. Dude, your wife really called you in as a trespasser in your own house? Yep. That's bold. You know, you can press charges for false reporting, right? And document everything. Get cameras if you don't have them. Took his advice. Went home, installed a Ring doorbell and 2 cameras. Good thing too, because that night my wife showed up with her sister and mom. She tried a key, didn't work. I changed the locks. She started pounding on the door. Open the door. I know you're in there. Her mom. Just break a window. You have every right to be in there. I called 911. Told them my estranged wife was at my property, threatening to break in. Cops showed up in 8 minutes. Who called about a break-in attempt? I did. That's my wife. We're separated. She tried to use a key that no longer works, and her mother suggested breaking a window. Ma'am, is this your residence? Yes. I mean, we're married. I've been living here. But is your name on the deed or lease? No. Then you can't enter without the owner's permission. Sir, do you give permission? No. Ma'am, you need to leave. If you attempt to enter without permission, that's breaking and entering. Her mom was furious, but they left. The next morning, I got a call from a lawyer, hers. She's requesting access to the marital home to retrieve her belongings. She can have her stuff. She needs to arrange a time when I'm not there. She gets 2 hours. He tried to argue, but eventually agreed. But then my buddy called again. There's a report claiming you're withholding your wife's property, financially controlling her, and forced her out of the house. They're building a narrative. Get a lawyer ASAP. I did. Meanwhile, my wife was texting from her sister's phone, threatening legal action, saying the court would make me sell the house and give her half. My phone blew up with angry messages from her friends and even my mother-in-law. How dare you throw my daughter out on the street? I didn't throw her out. She left after calling the police on me. Because you were threatening her. I never threatened anyone. The police confirmed that. You're trying to steal everything from her. That house is half hers. It's not. I bought it before we were married. Doesn't matter. You're married. Everything is shared. That's not how property law works. She hung up. The narrative was already being spun. I was the bad guy who threw out his wife and stole the house. Never mind reality. Saturday's pickup was coming. I planned to be far away. One week later, ***. Saturday's pickup was a disaster. For them, not me. I wasn't there. But apparently, they tried to take more than just her stuff. Friday, I met with my lawyer. She looked at all my documentation. House is yours. Premarital property. She has no claim unless she can prove she contributed to mortgage payments or improvements. She didn't. I own it outright. Then she has no claim. We'll file for divorce. You keep the house. She filed the papers that day. Served my wife Saturday morning, right before the pickup. At 2 p.m., my wife showed up with her family and a moving truck. They started loading her clothes, books, some furniture. Fine. But then her dad started going through my office. Her mom was in the garage. I called my neighbor. Can you check if everything's okay at my place? He called back. They're not just packing her things. Saw her dad take your toolbox. Her mom's loading boxes from your garage. Called my lawyer. She said, call the police. I did. Cops arrived. By then, they'd loaded a bunch of my stuff. TV, PlayStation, tools, even tried to take my laptop. The officers made them unload everything that wasn't clearly hers. Huge argument. Her dad almost got arrested for yelling at the cops. Ma'am, do you have receipts for these items? I don't need receipts. We're married. You're separated and we're given limited access. What you're doing is theft. They had to unload about half the truck. My neighbor confirmed they put everything back. Before leaving, my wife screamed at my Ring camera, "This isn't over. You're going to pay for this." Got that on video too. But the drama didn't end there. Sunday morning, I got a notification from my bank. Someone tried to transfer all $8,000 from our joint savings to an account I didn't recognize. The bank flagged it, called me. I told them no, freeze the account. My wife had tried to drain our joint savings. Called my lawyer. She said file an emergency motion to freeze all joint assets. We did. Hearing is tomorrow. Then I found out my wife filed a restraining order request, claiming I was stalking her with the Ring cameras and financially abusing her by stealing her belongings. My lawyer's response: let her try. We have video evidence of everything, and she's the one who tried to steal your property and drain your bank account. Some mutual friends believed her version. Others saw the police body cam footage and knew she was lying. Lost some friends, but if they believed her wild story without asking my side, they weren't real friends anyway. Tomorrow's hearing should be interesting. Update 3 weeks later. Everything came to a head last week. Multiple hearings, lots of drama, and finally, some resolution. First, the restraining order hearing. She claimed I was harassing her via camera surveillance, threatening her through my neighbor, and financially abusing her by denying access to marital property. My lawyer presented the police report showing she called the cops on me, Ring footage of her trying to break in, footage of her family stealing my stuff, bank records showing she tried to drain our joint account, and texts from her threatening me. The judge looked at her lawyer. Your client called the police, claiming her husband was trespassing in a home he solely owns. Then she attempted to forcibly enter his property. Then she attempted to steal his belongings. Then she tried to empty their joint account. And she wants me to restrain him. Her lawyer: Your Honor, she was acting out of desperation. She has nowhere to go. The judge: She's staying with her sister, according to her own filing. She's employed. She's not destitute. She's just not getting what she wants. Request denied. My wife started crying. Her mom yelled, "This is sexist." The bailiff had to warn her. Then came the emergency motion about the joint assets. Judge froze the account, ordered us to split it 50-50. It's $4,000 each. Fair enough. But then my lawyer brought up the attempted theft. Your Honor, the respondent attempted to remove approximately $6,000 worth of the petitioner's property during the supervised pickup. Police were called and items were returned. We have documentation. Judge to my wife: Is this true? I thought those things were ours. Did you purchase them? No, but we used them together. That doesn't make them yours. If you can't distinguish between shared marital property and his separate property, you shouldn't have unsupervised access. Judge ordered all future pickups be supervised by a neutral third party or law enforcement. My wife was furious. Kept insisting she had rights. That the house was partially hers because she maintained it. She didn't. I paid for everything. Judge: Ma'am, you don't own the property. You didn't contribute financially. Your name isn't on the deed. You have no legal claim. We can discuss spousal support in the divorce, but the house is his. Her lawyer tried to argue about sweat equity, but the judge shut it down. Said that might matter if we'd been married 20 years, not 3, and not when she was employed the whole time. The divorce hearing was last week. Standard stuff. Dividing the furniture, splitting the joint savings, determining spousal support. Her lawyer pushed hard for alimony, claimed my wife had sacrificed her career for our marriage. She hadn't. Judge awarded her temporary spousal support for 18 months, $800 a month. Not thrilled, but my lawyer said it could have been worse. The house? 100% mine. The judge made that very clear. Total cost of this mess: lawyer fees, $8,500. New locks and security cameras, $550. My portion of joint savings, $4,000. Spousal support for 18 months, $14,400. Stress and wasted time? Priceless. Could have been worse. Could have lost the house or half its value. Could have had years of alimony. Could have had criminal charges if I'd reacted differently that first night. My wife is living with her sister now. She's telling everyone the legal system is rigged against women, that I got away with financial abuse by not giving her my house, that she's the victim. Her friends believe her. My friends know the truth. The people in the middle figured it out eventually. The wildest part? Her mother tried to call me last week, wanted to talk this out for the sake of the family. This has gone too far. Can't you just forgive her? She called the cops on me in my own house, tried to steal my property, then tried to drain our savings. What exactly am I forgiving? She made mistakes. We all make mistakes. Those aren't mistakes. Those are calculated decisions. Well, she's my daughter and she's suffering. She's suffering consequences of her own actions. That's different. You're heartless. I'm done being manipulated. Hung up. Blocked the number. Some people say I should have been more understanding, that marriage is about compromise and forgiveness. But here's the thing. You don't compromise with someone who calls the cops on you falsely. You don't forgive someone who tries to steal from you. You don't work things out with someone who shows that level of entitlement and disrespect. The divorce will be finalized in about 2 months. Can't come soon enough. Meanwhile, I'm back in my house. Alone. Peaceful. No drama. No police, no accusations. My neighbor comes by sometimes. We have coffee, talk about normal stuff. He says he's glad I stood my ground. Work's been good. My boss was supportive. Friend group is smaller but stronger.